Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is The Flash, Season 7. At the end of Season 6, the evil Eva McCulloch had just escaped from the Mirrorverse. Iris is still trapped in there, and the Flash is losing his speed because the Speed Force died. The team is trying to create an artificial Speed Force, but so far, no luck. But if anyone can figure out how to build an artificial Speed Force, it's Harrison Wells. Remember, since Crisis, Nash Wells, the Indiana Jones type, is the only Wells left. But all the other Wells are in his head, so working together, they figure it out. And turns out to make it work, they're gonna have to sacrifice themselves. Put the spirits of the Wellses into the Speed Force. It's a touching moment as all the different Wells we've come to love over 6 seasons say a farewell to Barry. Run, Barry, run! Flash got his speed back. But we're not done with Wells yet. Remember, the original Earth 1 Harrison Wells had his face stolen by the Reverse Flash Eobard Thawne. But now, for fake science reasons, I can't even begin to explain. The original Earth 1 Harrison Wells is back. He introduces himself to Team Flash, but he's not sticking around. Apparently he has time travel powers, so he's going back to retire with his wife, and Harrison Wells is off the show. Remember, the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, created his own artificial Speed Force, but it's the negative Speed Force powered by negative emotions. So instead of that, Team Flash created a neutral Speed Force, but it has a side effect. Barry's lost all of his emotions. He's an unfeeling robot. Long story short, he figures out how to get Iris out of the Mirrorverse, but then she realizes she's gotta put her love into that Speed Force. So now Barry's super speed is literally powered by his and Iris's love. Anyway, Mirror Lady has some dastardly plan to replace all of Central City with mirror clones. Flash busts in to fight her, but he ends up defeating her with his real superpower, emotional heart-to-hearts that convince villains to become good guys. So Eva goes back to quiet retirement in the Mirrorverse, and the day is saved. Now, it's not just Harrison Wells leaving Team Flash this season. Ralph Dibny, the Elongated Man, is leaving too. Yes, the actor was fired from the show for inappropriate tweets from 10 years ago. It's an incredibly awkward farewell where they make up an excuse why he can't show his face and his voice sounds different. Honestly, it would have been better if they didn't even bother and just said he's off doing things. And Cisco Ramon get more serious with his girlfriend Camilla. In fact, they decide that they want to leave Central City. Yes, Cisco also leaves Team Flash this season. He takes a job at Argus. What is happening? But he's been training his replacement, Chester P. Runk, who we met last season. He now officially takes over as Team Flash's tech guy, and he brings with him his own cool vibe. Remember, Team Flash got another new addition last season, Allegra Garcia. She and her evil cousin Esperanza both have ultraviolet light powers, but working with Team Flash, Allegra got herself some of those super love powers. She redeems her cousin into a good guy, but almost immediately after, she dies. One episode, it's a crossover with John Diggle from Arrow. He's having bad headaches though. Remember, at the end of Arrow Season 8, there was a teaser scene where he found a Green Lantern ring? So assuming these CW verse shows continue, John Diggle gonna be the Green Lantern. Then Team Flash gets another new member, kind of, because Killer Frost and Caitlin separate bodies. I can't even begin to explain the science of why this happens, but in any case, Frost and Caitlin no longer sharing a body, but still sharing an apartment. But Sergeant Kristen Kramer comes to town, and she doesn't care that Frost is a good guy now. She wants to charge her with her crimes from when she was still a villain. In fact, Central City has a new ice-powered villain. It's this bartender who goes by Chill Blaine, who's got like ice gloves or whatever, and while he has cold powers, he is super hot. Frost has a huge lady boner for him. Eventually though, Frost turns herself in, but Kramer's pushing for a severe penalty. She wants to give her the metahuman cure. Frost can't let that become legal precedent. She's like, hey, I'd rather you lock me up for life. Papa Joe West won't stand for this gross miscarriage of justice. He resigns as police chief. Turns out this whole plot was pointless though. Like 2 episodes later, she's released for good behavior. Now, why does Sergeant Kramer hate metahumans so much? Well, when she was in the army, her best friend is a metahuman who betrayed them. Apparently, he has invincible powers, but he's like, yo girl, you're a metahuman too. Turns out her superpower is mimicking the powers of other metas around her, so watch out for that. Now, you can't have a season of The Flash without Gorilla Grodd. Except, turns out you can, cause he's not in this season. They wasted their CGI budget on this thing. Yes, going back to the night when Iris put her love into the artificial Speed Force, there was an unexpected consequence. Turns out that brought the real Speed Force back to life. But it also created other forces of nature that are bad. This hulked out high school wrestler is the strength force they call Forza. There's a fear force that makes you scared they call Psych. And there's a time force who they just call Dion because that's his name. These were all real people that now have these powers. So Barry time travels back to stop them from being created in the first place. But now that he's here, he realizes that because they were created out of his and Iris's love, they're kind of like his children? It turns out Barry is pro-life. He decides to let them be born. Yeah, they really lean into this whole you're our children thing. It's super awkward because they're full-grown adults. Even awkwarder with the Speed Force herself, who has taken the form of Barry's dead mother. It's weird. So Barry wants to help his kids, but the Speed Force decides they're too dangerous, so attacks them. Yeah, the evil Speed Force is the villain. So Papa Flash visits his kids and convinces them all to be good guys. So it's a family feud as the forces join forces against their evil sister in a nonsense CGI battle where Barry has to run around a tornado for some reason. reason, but in the end they defeat her with their real superpower, a heart-to-heart speech that convinces her to be a good guy again. So with all this talk about their children, Iris is like, hey, why don't we make some kids for real? Oh, Barry and Iris getting it on. And speedsters have a built-in pregnancy test, cause your grown-up kid from the future will time travel back to be like, congrats, you knocked mom up. Yes, Nora, XS, is back, but she's got a surprise this time, cause in this new timeline, Barry and Iris have 2 kids. She's got a younger speedster brother, Bart. But also traveling back from the future is their villain, Godspeed. Remember last season, they fought a few Godspeeds that were all like robots or clones or something? Well, now there's a whole bunch of them. Whoa, the Flash is way outnumbered. But what's this? Some more Godspeeds show up and then fight the other Godspeeds. Yeah, there's a Godspeed civil war. They capture one of them who explains why it's happening, but it's complete nonsense. I didn't understand it. But the Flash has to stop it, because if they keep doing bad slow karate at each other, they're gonna tear this city apart. But now the Flash has his kids for backup. Turns out though, Godspeed really hates his son Bart the most. Yes, Godspeed is Bart's arch nemesis, because in the future he kills his uncle Jay Garrick. Yes, he's the Flash from Earth 3, but now that there's only one Earth, I think he just lives in Ohio or something. Apparently in the future, he and Bart become incredibly close, but now is when Jay meets him for the first time. Anyway, the Speed Force comes back to give all our speedsters a power-up, including giving Iris temporary speedster powers again. So now we've got a bunch of speedsters, and it's a big ol' speedster battle. But for some reason, there's just like infinite Godspeeds. Eventually, they track down the real Godspeed, but he's got amnesia. So they send Barry inside his head to talk to him, where he meets the real Godspeed. It's like, alright man, so what's your deal? And basically, he just likes being evil. But he was not born with this speed, it's artificial. He came from the Velocity X formula. And if Barry doesn't give him natural speed, he's gonna let his Civil War clones destroy the city. And so Barry has no choice. He gives the villain exactly what he wants, and oh, the real full Godspeed is born again, sucks all of his clone robots into himself. So now Godspeed's gonna kill the Flash, but oh, who's this coming in? The Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, confusingly still wearing Harrison Wells' face. He's like, what's up, Barry? I'm not gonna let this guy kill you. I have to kill you myself. So for now, they're gonna team up. So for their final battle, Godspeed pulls a new move and turns his speedster lightning into a sword. Yeah, it's lightsaber time. I mean, yeah, just why not? In the end, Darth Godspeed's gonna win, but oh, stabbed by Reverse Flash! So Godspeed was the big bad villain for all of 3 episodes. So now Reverse Flash turns on Barry, but oh, Barry's way faster now! Yes, his Speed Force mom-daughter's power-up made him way faster, so Reverse Flash is like, I'm gonna be back later. And so, at the end of season 7, Barry and Iris decide to have another wedding to renew their vows. I guess their first one was kind of overshadowed by Oliver and Felicity, and this time they're upstaged by their son from the future who's proven his real superpower isn't speed, but singing. And so, Barry and Iris have a slow-mo flash time kiss, and that's where Flash season 7 comes to an end. If you like this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies, and if you loved this recap, check out the join button and support the channel as a member.